bad road, but I think they do scrape it. But it is a little bit rutty. You kind of have to pick your lines. Not super steep. I have seen cars come up here quite a bit, but I know some of the lowriders are definitely hitting bottom in some spots. Squirrel. A little bit wet and muddy. I think it snowed up here earlier this morning from some of the reports I've heard from some of the campers up here. I'm driving up here in a, whoa, they're big rut, a 2018 Jeep Wrangler. It's not been modified at all, but it does handle these kind of roads really well. More ruts. Looks like there's a guy behind me in a 90s Chevy Blazer or Suburban with a kayak. He should be able to get up here with no problem. Ruts. Quite a few trails off this main road here were some pullouts if you want to take some hikes. Well, there's one that would take out your transmission if you're in a car. Few tight blind curves, so if you come around these you gotta kind of keep an eye on who's ahead of you, if there's any oncoming traffic. Almost got hit on a curve like this once pulling a tent trailer and had to crawl up the side of the mountain to avoid from being sideswiped. Got another truck. These folks are pretty good to pull over and let you pass. It's just kind of the safest way. If you're at a point where you can find a pullout, then you're the one that pulls over. The max speed along here is 10 to 15 miles an hour. The road's only 3 miles long, so it's not like it's a super long drive, so better to go safe and keep it under control. other here. Now look at that, he's in a Toyota Corolla. Beautiful view of Mount Timpanogos off to the right here. There's another pull out. I think there's a trail that goes off down that way. I might have to take that with Obi sometime. A little more traffic. This place gets a little busy on holidays. A lot of people likes to hike the Silver Lake Trail up here. So there's the Silver Lake Reservoir, that's where we're heading. And then the Silver Lake Trail, that's the other YouTube video that I posted. And then even above the Silver Lake up there, there's an upper Silver Lake that's quite a bit smaller. I think it's called a dead lake because in the winter it freezes solid and there isn't any fish that survives up there. But if you ever want to go fishing, there's quite a few fish in that Silver Lake if you don't mind the 2.25 mile hike and hauling your gear in. Kind of a good thing that it rained a bit. Sometimes this road can get pretty dusty. Not too much dust today. I think we're going to get a good view once we come around the corner here of the mountains. This road just opened up last week, so there was still snow on it a week ago, but the warm temperatures earlier in the week have gave it an opportunity to open up. Another thing you got to watch out for is the side-by-side. Some of them come ripping down here and they like to drive in the middle of the road, and they're more likely to run into you than anything. Up here on the right is these summer homes. I've talked to people that have some up here, but I've never been over in there. Maybe sometime I'll have to hike over there and see what they look like. Looks like we're getting into this. Yep, I can see some fresh snow from last night sitting in the trees over here. Look like they got about an inch. Getting almost to the reservoir. You really got to be careful on this section, because once we turn the corner here, this is where some of the bigger rocks sticking out of the road are. Some of the bigger potholes. Oh, there's a giant one there. We're going to drive around it. Still getting quite a bit of bucking here. Definitely think this is one of the more pretty places up this canyon, and it doesn't get quite as many tourists up here, so it's a little bit less crowded. Most people could get up here if you're in a higher ground clearance truck or a SUV. Cars can make it, but you just got to be more careful. Like I mentioned before, if you're in a lowrider, don't try it. You're going to lose your transmission. Gonna pull into this parking lot really quick and give you a quick view. This is kind of the best viewpoint of what this lake looks like. And then we'll go over to the main parking lot for the trail, Silver Lake Trail. Looks like we got a few people up here fishing. They don't stock this lake quite as much, but it doesn't get as overfished, and so if you catch one, their fish are usually a little bit bigger. Looks like they don't have the main gates down to trap all the water because all the snow that's still in the mountains. Okay, let's cruise over onto the main parking lot. Getting a little bit chillier. We're quite a bit up here in elevation, and this is the Saturday before Memorial Day, and we're at 39 degrees according to my vehicle's temperature gauge. Normally it'd be in the mid 50s up here this time of the year. Well, here we are. This is the main gate across the creek. It's not open yet. I think they got too much water running, but a lot of Jeeps and side-by-sides will drive across there in trucks, and then you can do some camping if you go across the creek and to your left. And there is the main trail to the Silver Lake Reservoir, or Silver Lake above the reservoir here. Well, I hope that helps everybody out in determining if you want to make the drive up here. It's definitely gorgeous country. Have a good one, everybody.